My name is Tina Marie Letwiniuk, and this will be my 6th year as a member of the Prairie Quills Writers Group. The slice of life I will be reading tonight is a paraphrased excerpt from a work in progress to be released next year in 2021. In just over half a century, I have lived in 19 locations. They were all places I called home, regardless of how permanent they were. My first memories of houses are more about the events surrounding the house rather than the building itself. I learned to ride a tricycle and what the law of gravity is all about when I crashed into fir trees lining Pickford Road in Victoria. I also learned about the power behind the sun and a magnifying glass when I watched with 4-year-old wonder as my dad magically burnt my name in a wooden swing in the backyard. Then there's Eric's place, a 2-story house stuck in the middle of the prairie, only a few miles from my grandparents' homestead. I revisited it a couple of years ago, still stuck in the middle of the prairie, but weather and age have slowly broken down its walls. The fog of time lifted slightly when I drove up to the house and remembered listening to Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head by B.J. Thomas when I had the flu. I went from being a country girl to a little girl in a big city when my parents bought a house on 8th Avenue Northwest in Swift Current. Life's learning curve was almost vertical, with first kisses, the consequences of Knock Knock Ginger, and adventures just a bike ride to the park away. Back to country living for my teen years into a Sears catalog style house. I woke to many a sunrise through my bedroom window, and to this day I am still an early riser who prefers an east-facing bedroom. That room held all the secrets of adolescence and those moments of falling in love with teen movie stars, a Bronco goaltender, and the boy who sat in the second last seat on the school bus on the left-hand side. After high school, a series of rentals over the next 10 years are a blur of secondary schooling, partying, working, falling in love with my life partner, and making babies. Each apartment, basement, suite, and house were special because I was finally making my own decisions. Some of those decisions revealed lessons which I have carried with me for the rest of my life, like moving from an old brickstone character apartment to a sleek and modern high-rise with balcony. In less than 3 months, I was looking for something within my pocketbook and learned to appreciate what I could afford. My favorite house still is the brown house on Avenue E North in Saskatoon. The house my husband and I bought together. The house where our children were born. The house where I grew into becoming a wife and a mother, and life was full of laughter and fun. When we decided to sell that house, I always said that if I could fold it up, put it in my pocket, and bring it with us, I would. Dennis and I moved to Swift Current in 1995 to raise our family and open a small business. Little did I know that that house where I spent my teen years would come full circle to me and we would raise our children in it. And then without any warning, I would become a widow in it. In 2016, a year after Dennis passed, I was driving up TV Hill after viewing 4 houses in town that were either out of my pocket range or were just okay. Hey God, it's me, Tina. I've been looking for a house to start the next chapter of my life, but nothing fits. Please show me a house that's perfect for me. No sooner were those words out of my mouth when my cell phone started to ring. I pulled over and took the call. Hi Tina, it's Bev. Are you still looking for a house? I nearly dropped the phone. Bev is the sister of someone I used to work with, and by word of mouth, through the small town grapevine, she heard I was wanting to move into Swift Current. My shaking hands and the tears flowing down my cheeks were signs that this was true divine intervention. Trying to keep composure of all the emotions involved with synchronicities such as this, I eagerly replied that I was still indeed looking for a house. She gave me the address of the one she and her husband were selling privately. I did an immediate U-turn, and within 10 minutes, I was parked out front of it. I sat in my vehicle for a few minutes, collecting my wits. I gazed at the pale green 2-story house with ginormous lilac bushes in full bloom across the front. It reminded me of something from a fairy tale like Hansel and Gretel, a cottage in the woods, Grandma's house. It felt tranquil and inviting, and as I walked up to the front door, I was still caught in the feeling of divine timing. Bev and Keith greeted me with smiles and laughter, and the house wrapped its arms around me and gave me a hug. I fell in love, and I was barely across the threshold. "Thank you, God," I whispered, and stepped into the house that chose me, along with some guidance from above. Thank you.